Hello and thank you for returning for game 2 of the day. Team Liquid versus Golden Guardians. We're going to jump right into the roster rundowns to get into the game. Selecting on the blue side, it's going to be Team Liquid. That means in the top lane, it's Impact. Roaming in the jungle is Smithy. Mid lane is Pole Belter. And bot lane in support, Doublelift and Ole with Coach Kane.
And that means facing them on the red side, it's Golden Guardians. In the top lane, Lorlo. In the jungle, Contracts. Mickey in mid, Deathly bot, and support Matt with Coach Tyler.
And after competing internationally and potentially having less time to adapt to the new patch, Team Liquid still look like they can manage and be the dominant on day, and were dominant on day one, I should say.
Yeah, they were absolutely dominant on day one. And Team Liquid, they didn't try to force anything uncomfortable in Champion Select. But Doublelift talked earlier about how, they have played a little bit of everything, and that they want to be able to play multiple styles, because if you don't, you're going to get left in the dust. And they ended up picking a kind of spring split style composition that they ended up beating 100 Thieves with. So they're already saying, hey, we can do the original stuff still well. Question is, can they do the other stuff on top of it?
We'll have to see, and we see if they can shake things up any further against Golden Guardians, whose newest member, Mickey, did have a rough first outing in his new team spot in the mid lane of Golden Guardians.
Getting camped doesn't help your debut, and he was focused very heavily by Power of Evil and the rest of Optics showing up in his lane. His scoreline doesn't really reflect how much he was camped. They only got one death, but had his flash constantly blown, and he wasn't set up for success. He was picked on Lulu, he built supportive, and then he's also got all these people in his lane showing up, so they aren't giving him the resources in Champion Select, in the game, and then he's not even setting himself up to be a carry. But Golden Guardians has said he's supposed to be the mechanical upgrade from their previous mid laner High, and they didn't put him in a position to showcase that. So today, question is, are Golden Guardians going to put him in that carry seat?
Absolutely. It's kind of like one of those high highs, low lows types of situations. We remember seeing him in Academy on the Scion, controlling games, being a very big impact overall in kind of whatever pick that he was playing. And you're right, that Lulu doesn't fit him, but he can obviously play that role. We'll see what they decide to put, or the role they decide to put him in today, as we got Talia and Brand first banned to start things off here. Morgana will also find herself on the bench to start things off in game 2 as Golden Guardians. Now the timer is on them.
I'm excited to see eventually if Contracts ever gets his hands on Talia jungle, because he said earlier in the day that he's the best Talia in the NALCS because he played it when he would get Phil or play mid.
Cleanest Talia,
right? And now he gets played in the jungle, but they banned it because Talia is just that pretty much the perma-banned champion right now, alongside Aurelia, which shows up there sometimes too. And then Zoe, as people learned, there's a Hex Flash plus W interaction that kind of milks some extra damage from her.
You don't need any extra damage from that champion.
No, you don't. But when you have it, it just makes it go overboard.
Feels so good. Rakan does get banned out for a bit of that crowd control denial as Aurelia is picked up here. Could be Pole Belters, could be Impacts, Smithy's, Doublelists, Ole's.
Yeah,
could be
anybody's.
Could be Kane's. Who knows?
Well, right now, the only thing that's for sure is it is Kane's in some regard.
This is true.
They've locked it in, that first pick, and there are things like the Camille that you can run. The Fiora is actually a good lane counter, but you can start losing matchups later on, or losing the matchup later on.
Graves locked in, aggression for Contracts. You could still be pretty aggro on that, even if you're not getting the Talia on either side of the matchup.
Yeah, I think that aggression is kind of the best suit for Contracts, having things like the Rek'Sai and the Graves be really in his wheelhouse. So now seeing him back on this Graves is something that's quite good. But something else to note is there's no Taric ban, there's no Master Yi ban, and Taric has shown up as a very consistent ban, and you can start funneling farm into things. I mean, Jungle Aurelia is sometimes a thing too when you have a mid laner that just goes ahead and supports it. Typically the Braum, but the Braum is taken here. Speaking of which, the Hover.
Oh, will it happen? Let's go, Captain. See if they lock this one in. It has been stopped. It's not the end-all, be-all strategy. We have seen teams let it pass, and it has been stopped in professional play. And we just see the Hover, though. Alistar does get locked in eventually for most likely Ole.
Yeah. I don't
have
think
the Jungle Cow anymore.
Right. No Jungle Cow. I don't think we'd see it mid lane either.
Yeah.
Kind of works best when it's in a duo.
Shushay?
Yeah, that's true. Way back in the day, the AP. Don't think we'll see that, though.
And there's the Shin's out. Got to get that aggression against Graves. Figured to be picked up since it is not banned. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and 1 as the fuse fizzles out. It is locked in.
Yeah, Xin Zhao quite good. Phase Rush plus the new Nimbus Cloak makes it so that when you ulti, you can go ahead and run around very quickly and block a lot of that damage.
Saw
Get away from
saving his life yesterday with that, or collateral damage against the Graves. Mickey, will you lock in for a Deathly? Deathly actually had a pretty good game, kind of showing the variance. Looks like he might get an Ezreal today.
Yeah, I like this from Deathly because the Ezreal, kind of one of those big 80 carries. Lucian, Ezreal, Kai'Sa are kind of the 3 that jump up as you can still play those marksmen in the bottom lane, no problem. Because they didn't really build crit items anyway. And so Ezreal plus Braum is a great combination. The Q will add stacks of passive. You always want to invade with this combination too. So I want to see what Golden Guardians do here on their level 1. Because when I think back to some of Golden Guardians' wins, it was Matt being aggressive level 1 on things like Shen, good invade routes, and you have to like cast people's minds back to the middle of the spring split. The last time Golden Guardians and Team Liquid played each other, Golden Guardians won. They beat Team Liquid week 5 of the spring split and got that win on the board there. I believe it was their 2nd win of the split overall, but it was one that TL was kind of carried with them. And I saw Matt in between games, and he's like, I always like to take a chance at Team Liquid. He always loves playing up against this team, his old organization.
They're necked in to the sidelines along with Kai'Sa and Varus as they hit double lift. Double lift feels like, yeah, let him ban against me. I'll go 2nd phase. You guys can get whatever you need for the jungle support and that carry to flex around. What do they have? Last ban towards Golden Guardians. They are looking at hitting Mickey a few more times, and that one will be a lure low and Deathly hit.
Yeah, make sure they can't play 2 of the big counters to the Aurelia in the lane phase. Aatrox, though, that's actually a good one. I would love to see Lorlo on that champion, regardless of what it's up against, because I think Mundo is still potentially on the table for Team Liquid, but Aatrox and Mundo are both things that you could play in that top lane and have a good time.
Yep. The Lulu.
Again, though.
Things are popping up purple this game.
Yeah, but we talked about it where Mickey built really defensive. His build was Athenes into Banner of Command, into an Ardent Sensor, and I thought the Ardent Sensor was pretty much wrong because he had a Graves jungle, and then he had a Brand as his bot laner. So the Graves isn't going to make great use of the attack speed and all that, and and the Brand isn't either. So it was kind of almost a useless item, and it'd be better to go AP and just increase the damage of the composition overall. So I want to see what Mickey does this game, because this is one where Ardent Sensor would be a bit better, but I want to see if it's the Banner of Command, full kind of push or supportive strategy here.
Holy cannoli.
Wait, but this might be...
Oh my word. Okay.
I actually think it's not bad.
No, I think it's great. They're just all going to have to approach this turret and hopefully be a higher level once they get to it. So much close range. They get the Vladimir in there. We have seen a Vlad kind of poked into a composition at the end when you need a little bit more AoE. You need a little range on someone. Not the most range, but you get a bit more.
Yep.
Wow, I love these compositions. Locked in for both sides as they sort them out. Up to 20 seconds they can switch around, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and right now, Golden Guardians, I think they're pretty much set with what they're going here. Everybody's going to be in the lanes that they're in.
Yeah,
everybody will be playing the role that they were assigned in terms of like top through bot. The Aatrox, I like it for Lorlo. It wins almost all matchups, and top lane is more of an island now than before because bot lane has a lot of aggressive like champions in it, whether it's the bruisers or the marksmen or the mages. People are constantly trading, and it pulls the jungler's attention. And I like this from Golden Guardians, except that there's no magic damage. It's kind of Mickey, and if he goes Ardent Sensor again, I think they are over-indexed on physical damage, whereas the Ornn can just stack armor and be okay. But Ardent Sensor isn't bad here, right? You have 3 physical damage dealers who want to auto-attack. You could go Ardent Sensor. I want to watch Mickey's build here. But Team Liquid, let's talk about them here, because double lift on this Vladimir. This is not the marksman that we saw him on before. He's going to show us something different here today.
It's the pocket Vladimir. The pocket pick Vlad. We'll have to see. Hashtag TL and hashtag GGS win as we head on to the Rift. Impact taking Ornn into this matchup. He was on that Aatrox yesterday, so he knows the matchup. He knows what it entails. We'll see if Lorlo can bring that to the table a little bit better than he is expecting. I love seeing these compositions because you don't really know what's going to happen early or who's going to aggress early. Just like we saw TSM going from buff to buff last game. It's not the norm.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's going to happen here, though. I predict Golden Guardians go for a clumped up level 1. They have the Ezreal with Klepto. They have Matt on this Braum. And I think what you really want to do is just tag somebody like the Vladimir and make it so that the game starts off on the right foot. And during the lane phase, remember, Vladimir, he kind of has to choose very carefully in his first 3 levels. If you go Q, and then the Braum is able to walk up or tag you, you're going to have to flash. There's pretty much no way you're not going to get stunned. And then if you go W level 2, you don't have the wave push because of your E. And it really does kind of suck until level 3 for Vladimir, where you get all 3 of your abilities. But if you get tagged by a Braum Q in that early part, then you're pretty much dead.
I love those type of situations where you put that instant pressure onto somebody.
Man,
it really is an outcome.
I am really sad they didn't go for an invade. Definitely is just... All right. He's just checking. I'm really sad they didn't go for an invade, but it looks like it might be a delayed one here. They're all kind of clumped up on the bottom side here, and potentially just going for the red buff late invade here. And if Golden Guardians, kind of have nothing to lose here, just push up, go for that early game victory if you want. If Podbelter actually ditches this area, nope. Oh,
right up.
He sees them.
Just on the edge. So they'll be able to come through. Ward giving the knowledge that they are there. Nothing really on the other side of the map just yet. Just the pixel brush to the top side for Contracts and Golden Guard.
Yeah, but I love what Doublelift did is Doublelift walked up towards the wave and made it so that he slow pushes this back towards him, but he also gets a CS advantage. And look, they lost a minion, so Deathly and Matt won't be hitting that level 2 right on time.
They get the tag onto Ole, and we're off and running in this bot lane. They should be able to just walk up and get those hits on. Definitely's gonna have to do a great job of being protected here.
Yeah. Oh, it's a E level 1. Yeah, walk up, go after him. Yeah, the Marksman has all the pressure in this lane here. If Matt can land a stun, just go in, yeah.
Super interesting. Trying to get a little more push on the wave itself, maybe, and thinking 2 will come fast enough that they won't be able to get pushed out of lane. But now they've separated from the wave, and this is exactly what they didn't want. If you can't stand your ground, it becomes very, very tough. One last tag on a Doublelift. Good hit by Ole, but that ground lost is big for Golden Guardians. We'll see how Liquid kind of recoups.
I actually think that was necessary from Ole. He 100% had to do that because definitely had flashed for another auto, got the stun, and the ignite from
fully
Matt came through.
committed.
It would be huge. But they're still level 1. Going to be underneath this turret. They're going to ward behind them. Are they actually going to spot Contracts here? Oh!
This is huge because they've chugged their potions. Now they're low. And they're not going to be able to get levels too much. They are going to get a hit off this minion, so they need to strike 2 so they get that bit of buff.
They have to go in because Pobelter's on his way.
Level 1 kills coming up. There's one. Serve them up. 2. And they might get another one. They went for seconds. Matt goes down. Pobelter's going to miss the flawless duet as he comes in with his 3 levels. But Golden Guardians, they just had it rolling. We talked about that pressure. If you can't do anything about it, they will do it.
And you saw Matt there. Matt is feeling this. Like I said, when I saw him between games, he was like, yeah, I love taking my chance at Team Liquid. He loves playing against Doublelift in the bottom lane and just pressuring him. The last time that they matched up against each other, he was aggressive nonstop. This is the same thing. He's dictating the pace of the lane, being forward, having presence, and then walks forward, says there's nothing you can get here, puts the shield up, knows he's going to block, and then this power shot plus the ignite does half his HP, which is more than you would think, but they get even more out of it too, because the teleport went through from Impact and was canceled.
Lorlo uses his to get back to lane. After I think he went kind of hard there to make sure, knowing teleport was down, he says, let's sync those up a little bit. Impacts was stopped, so you can see the charge coming back much faster.
Yeah, Impact actually destroying this matchup up top against the Aatrox.
Yeah.
Who will typically actually have pressure early using the Blood Price and the Blood Bloodthirst. It's so interesting that the Ornn, a very, very strong champion. I mean, his base stats are actually ridiculous, plus his W.
And the fact that he can just build as he did with cloth armor.
Yeah.
Out of the base.
Yeah, I got feelings about that.
We'll table that discussion. We'll talk about it later. 700 gold for Golden Guardians on that first aggression bot lane. Contracts 2 and 0, as that was an assist to Deathly and Man.
I mean, Contracts is somebody who can run away with games too.
Yes.
You give him that lead, it's gonna be great. Lorlo though, gonna go aggressive and force Impact back. As Contracts is gonna push to the top side of the map. He is gonna get spotted on a ward here.
Mr. Get to remember some of the times he played Kha'Zix for Cloud9 at the beginning of the Spring Split, just running away with games. Quadra kills at like 8 minutes into the game, or having a triple kill there because he invaded the jungle.
I mean,
just caused so much pressure.
Contracts love to play things like Lee Sin, Rengar, right? Back in his solo queue days, the Rek'Sai, etc. And so being on aggressive champions, like I've said before, is kind of his strong suit. The issue here, though, is junglers, once you hit your first 3 levels, getting those next ones is hard. So he's roaming around here, trying to find something, and Lorlo, pretty low.
Watch out for the well. Be good with his passive on the side of Lorlo as Contracts makes himself known top. The pressure for bottom is released, so he doesn't feel too bad about doing that. Definitely goes to back, and Matt is on a roam at the moment. So they're not giving up too much information to Xmithy to use.
Yeah,
Just drag. Well, Dragon's good enough. It's an Infernal to start.
I mean, it's a great one to start.
I love that.
But Contracts, I wonder if he's actually going to roam down here in time. Lulu, Mickey has pressure in the mid lane. Oh, wait, there's the interrupt.
Oh, blast into it. Not slowed on that still. He knows it's going to be an extra fight for Impact to go down, so he wanted to make sure that Lorlo didn't have teleport if he missed that timing. We do see Ole going down. Xmithy's going to flash over the wall, just gets by the blast cone, saves himself. He'll be all right off of that ignite. Mickey almost gets the kill and his flash over the wall. And it looks like Golden Guardians is able to push Team Liquid off of this now.
Yeah.
And grab the Dragon after having Contracts top lane.
Contract's able to run all the way through, but then the bottom lane pressure comes up huge. See this one more time as they approach. They are just pushing them into the back of the pit. You can see Doublelift isn't there. The Vladimir was trying to stay in that lane, but definitely sacrificed the lane and went around. And it comes up huge for him because he gets that kill. That's definitely worth it in gold, and then he gets his team the Ignite on top.
Definitely worth it.
Dragon on top of the Infernal.
40 to 49. Doublelift saw him a bit in those fights, more rotating in and out of lane to keep himself farmed up. Tier stack and starting for definitely stack and starting. I like that. It's good alliteration if it is. Mickey low on mana, probably see him oh, he just backed. All right, so charging up soon to get back to lane. Things are quiet in mid. Xmithy grabs that Scuttle Crab. They're on TL side going to be saying, where can we get next? Where do our forward wards stop what Golden Guardians have right now?
Well, right now, I think what TL want to do is potentially actually focus the top side. Focus Impact's lane. Vladimir plus an Alistar is not really a great lane to gank for, and they're already in a position where Golden Guardians is stronger on that side. And on the top side, Impact has this gigantic wave pushing towards him. There's no flash on Lorlo. I actually feel like this is a pretty easily gankable lane, and you just have to worry about losing the 2-on-2 because Contracts is fed. Look at this. It's coming up here.
Lorlo dives in very early, still has the slow to offer up. Looks like they're going to hold off on that. No wards, so they draw him back, make Impact want the fight a little bit more. Going to be the hit back. Nicely done as Contracts comes up with his 3rd kill of the game.
And that was one where Xmithy was in the river, backing after killing Blue Buff to go purchase some items. If he had stayed around or if the gank had come out a little earlier, he would have been there to actually help. So it's just one of those things where his back timer is desynced with Impact's aggression, and Impact goes too far forward and gets punished for it.
Impact as well. That can be a rinse and repeat. His flash is now down, and Lorlo and Contracts both have that gap closer to get themselves into the fight if they need to finish a kill. 3-0 for him, but he's spreading the love across the map right now. There's 4 total kills for both Guardians, and everybody's had a chance to participate. Now they want to get something done to Mickey. He hasn't been able to participate in too much, and they say, here you go, bud. Pick up a kill there for Team Liquid.
How's that for participation? I mean, he was kind of there, and then he wasn't there. Team Liquid. And playing through that mid lane with the Aurelia, the good setup there from Pobelter. The fact that Mickey didn't have flash. Oh,
hello. Goodbye.
Why? TY for leash.
Yeah, really. And a little denial of vision on the way out. Looks like Liquid's had enough with Golden Guardians running the early part of the game. They're starting to fight back with Mickey to start.
When Mickey doesn't have that flash, they'll go after him. Really well done there. The stun setup, the ultimate afterwards, knowing he can't get away. And then they don't even have to blow flashes themselves to get in there and get Mickey. Oh.
Flawless duet.
I think he actually wants to take this. There's Pobelter has flash still. Contracts though.
Oh. Put himself in range. Over the wall. Throws down the W. Dies it, but still goes down. Beautifully played with the W there.
He's got to get out.
But Contracts just on top of his game right now. Call the Forge God comes down. Does he have the quick draw? Can he get himself over the wall? Contracts now falls. Impacted a sliver of health as he goes down. And now Lorlo is able to take the long fight with the Bloodwell. It looks like Xmithy's going to get himself dead in this one. Who's getting the double buff? It's Lorlo in the top lane.
And that's exactly what you want to see there for Golden Guardians. They're now up 700 gold off that. Kills go over to the Aatrox. They got more onto Contracts, who, when you have a fed jungler roaming around the game, every matchup he walks into, even if it was losing before, is now a winning jungle plus that lane matchup. It's when you go top lane, your top lane's losing, but your jungler's fed, you win the 2-on-2. He goes mid, you win the 2-on-2 constantly. And so Contracts is pressing his advantage here. And this is exactly what you want to see from somebody who's on that aggressive jungler. Gets the slow afterwards, and Pobelter wants the blast cone into flash, but Contracts has his flash, follows up. Good W there from Pobelter. But then he queues back in, feeling like Contracts is eventually going to have the E back up. And then Impact ulties. It looks like it's a stacked CC chain there. Contracts does get absolutely blasted, but then Lorlo has the blood well. Turning onto him isn't good, and Matt is on the side there. So even if you turn this, Matt's going to be there in time. So they couldn't actually turn and fight. And Smithy with no flash, he was dead to rights as soon as he got in there.
They did get Contracts, so a bit of team gold on that shutdown. Helps to cap off some items. Doublelift's able to get his Aether Wisp and a Rod, so he can make an impact with some of these hits. Now level 9 will be his 5 for Q. He'll be able to spit that out nice and fast in the fights. Looking around the board, CS has been pretty much evened out around. And Lorlo's having a much better time in that lane, as Impact was doing very well early game, but needed that help from Contracts.
I mean, he got ganked. He's dead twice
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
right?
Over and over.
Lorlo definitely needed the help. Lorlo trying to get to these power spikes that Aatrox has as well. The Tiamat gives you the wave clear, Titanic Hydra, plus Ginsu's Rage Blade is what Aatroxes typically go now, where once you have those 3 stacks off of just attacking 3 times very quickly, you instantly get 6 stacks. So it fully stacks now on melees, and that gets him so that his blood price or his blood thirst is every other attack, and then you have another on hit with the Titanic Hydra on top of it. But look at this. He might turn on the Impact here. I think he wins this. Impact, no flash. I think he's dead.
Impact structure went down. He can't use that terrain around him now, and he does go down. That was just kind of simple for Lorlo. Impact kind of knew he made a mistake there. Didn't have an escape. So what do you do at that point?
Well, it's weird because when you're winning that matchup for 10 minutes straight, and then you go and check the guy's damage and do kind of the stat check on him, and then he starts beating you and you've already committed, that's that turnaround moment where you go, oh God, I messed up.
Oh,
Not
man.
once or twice, that's his 3rd time.
Top die. Top die indeed. Lorlo back, but he will get solo gold to this turret. So now if he can run away with it, he has been given so much, and a lot of it is in his driver's seat this game. Doublelift getting locked up, but they know he's got the Sanguine Pool to get the safety. They just go back to farming. Pressure being created by Lorlo now. See how TL responds to this map being opened up a little bit.
Yeah, Lorlo went from being bullied in this lane and down double-digit CS to being the 2nd highest gold in the entire game, right behind Pobelter. Look at this, Smithy down bottom. Potentially go after this Ezreal here, definitely.
Oh, actually got the charge out, buffered the arcane shift, but was stunned up for a moment. Glacial Fisher back, and you have coming down the mid lane, I should say from mid lane, Contracts and Mickey. Ole's gonna be the first one to go down, and they're looking to see if they can turn out Pobelter maybe. He chooses the left side and the high ground out. Does not try to turn on the back of the fight. Golden Guardians is pinching on each one of these fights so well.
Yeah, and they had the right back timers. We saw the TP come out from Lorlo there with the Titanic Hydra completed. Faster than Impact on it, who had to cancel it, and that's another turret there for Golden Guardians. This was the 10th place team in spring. They made a single change. It was just the mid laner. The shot calling shifted more to Matt, and now they're up at 14 minutes in against the team that finished first last split.
And it's a different dynamic than yesterday's game. Mickey hasn't had as much pressure in the mid lane. Well pressured, Contracts has been able to absorb that and just be such a nuisance. Liquid has had to figure out where he is, where he's going, and what he's going to do. Here's a look at that replay again.
Yeah, and you can see Team Liquid are just making a standard play of roaming down bottom with the jungler. They commit, and then they both get out, but it's the turn here. The TP comes out way earlier. Contracts and Mickey are able to cut off Pobelter on the side, and then Lorlo comes through. The Dark Flight is perfect to get him in, and then he's able to just get the damage down. Whew. And they almost just destroy the team fight completely, but it gets Smithy to flash, it gets Impact's TP, and then they get the kill on top of it. There's a lot that went right there for Golden Guardians.
Infernal Drake. Something that would be very helpful here for TL, since they either dive these turrets or approach them and try to take them down as fast as possible with melee champs. or it's up to double lift on the split push.
I mean, he has the teleport on the Vladimir, and once you get to items, these certain item spikes on Vladimir, see, some people go for Shirelias still. The Spellbinder is actually quite good. Hold on, Mickey.
Wild growth.
Not
Safety.
Yeah, the Spellbinder is fantastic. It got buffed, more AP, has movement speed on it, and that's what Vladimir always needs is movement speed. Whether it's Ghost, we saw Predator Vladimir, Phase Rush Vladimir, and when you're playing it with Electrocute, getting the Spellbinder is something that you really should be going towards, and he has it now, which gives him the active that keeps scaling up with extra AP and then a burst of movement speed, trying to get you into the fights. I wonder if he'll go for a Shirelia's on top of it or a Proto Belt, because those are usually the builds you'll see is at least one of those movement speed items, potentially two, and then you start building things like the big ticket items, the Death Cap, the Zonias.
Farming up, 165. So a little discrepancy there between Mickey. Still, obviously, shields and heals.
Yeah,
Nice and safe to stay out.
Pobelter's kind of the light at the end of the tunnel here for Team Liquid. He's up a lot of gold in his matchup. He doesn't have TP, so he can't split push, but he's still ahead, and he's in a position where if he continues to get ahead, hold on though, Smithy.
Oh my word, they are just activating immediately if they catch somebody out. They know they have the crowd control to keep locking these members down. The shield goes up, so Matt has a bit of extra speed, but he still gets the Winter's Bite to connect. And they drop Pobelter. That was from Dragon up to mid, and they couldn't even stop it from happening. Mid may just go down in favor of Golden Guardians now.
Talking about the light at the end of the tunnel, almost snuffed out completely now.
It was just a painting on the walls, Irene.
It was one of those
you got Acme, brother.
Oh, no. But like, for Pobelter there, he's just trying to help Xmithy, who doesn't have Flash, and then he gets caught out. It's a good roam, and Golden Guardians control the map. Golden Guardians, though, are only up 3,000 gold. And they have more objectives, they have more kills, but the pressure is something that they have to keep up. And this team has struggled with that historically, is keeping the pressure up. We just saw TSM end the game, have a very large advantage in it in 25 minutes.
Well, yeah, 8 minutes from now.
Yeah, but it was basically game state like this, except pushed further at that time. And we'll see what they're able to do here. Because Golden Guardians, you want to see them close this out.
Yeah.
Up against TL.
It would be huge. The mentality, what it means for the organization as well to start strong, because we saw what the wins in general meant for Golden Guardians in the spring.
I mean, they didn't get their first win as an organization until the second game of week 4. They were 0-7 before they got their first win as an organization. Getting your first win up against the #1 team from last split in week 1, I feel like that is something that you can take to the bank and say, look at this.
It's a possibility.
These are the right changes. We've already started off on the right foot, and it's a completely different split.
Double Lift still working on this bot turret as it is slow going for the Vladimir left alone here. He's just been trying to beef up this entire match, and that's what he hasn't had any pressure, so he may be able to make that damage come about when the time comes.
Because they're focused on bottom side here for TL, it's going to be Aatrox in the top side for Lorlo, pushing there. He's 2 levels up in his matchup and can't be matched. 4 people in mid now for Golden Guardians, and they're just going to force down turrets.
Pressure. Left and right. Xmithy on the right side. You can see the bit of taunting. Teleport coming in. Impact just behind. Actually, Double Lift behind. His first participation in a big fight here. Contracts to the backside. Looking at Xmithy. Eyes to the bot now for Ole. Forge God back through and blocked
Lorlo,
as they're able to drop Pobelter. TL backing off for the fight here is, Lorlo to the front line. He will also be the tank as him and Mickey continue to go through. Maybe a help pick Glitter Lance to slow him down, and Lorlo might find himself in a bad spot as they try to exit this fight. What control by Golden Guardians.
Yeah, we saw the flank there from Double Lift. He's way too late to the fight in terms of positioning, and he can't find his way into the big cluster of Golden Guardians because they just went and kited upwards. But I love GGS using the layout of the map. We had Lorlo top, 4 people mid to shove and put pressure on TL, and now we're seeing they take all the objectives afterwards.
What an influx of gold as well coming through. 6,000 gold lead with 6 turrets in their favor for Golden Guardians. And they are going to take a lot on the way out.
This is that level 1 from way earlier. Remember, Contracts got those 2 kills, and that's what started him off on the right foot. Made it so that he could win all those 2-on-2s, all the 3-on-3s later in the game.
And again.
Yeah, Double Lift. He ended up trying to get in. The Ornn ultimate was blocked by Matt. And then, yeah, they just chase him down on the backside. He's not able to get out completely. And then they're scattered to the wind here on the side of Team Liquid.
Contracts into the pit. Looks like it's going to be a Mountain Drake. 13-3, and they are able to grab every objective so far. And I should say every objective. They weren't able to grab Shelly. This is going to be going, however, over the Golden Guardians, and they're getting a nice variety.
Golden Guardians, yeah, just pushing on the bottom side here. Pobelter's top side, he can't join. He doesn't have teleport.
Yeah.
They're just trading objective now. TL are trying to get some amount of gold here in response. This is huge for Golden Guardians. They're getting more. They're getting fed across the board. The only people who have died are Mickey, Contracts once, and then their support, Matt, who sacrifices on the play. But look at this, Lorlo. He has blood.
Lorlo! He says we're letting it rip, boys! Golden Guardian goes in, and he just absolutely deletes Team Liquid! They are just being absorbed up and gone, evaporated from the map. Golden Guardians making quick work of the team and the inhibitors. What an outstanding early game coming from the Guardians, and now they're on to the Nexus turrets. Pobelter looking to make the fight of his life here, just in day 2 of the Summer Split. They'll say, yeah, we'll take it, and we'll take it all the way to the bank, baby. The Nexus turret's down, the ace onto Team Liquid, and Golden Guardians making an impact game, a statement game, 21 minutes in. We'll finish on Ole and finish on the Nexus as they'll start the second day of the Summer Split with a victory over Team Liquid.
That was David versus Goliath. That was 10th place versus 1st place from the last split. That is a blue shell if I have ever seen one. And you can see, that looked like a great game for Lorlo. He jumps out of his chair. He's like, hey, Aatrox, present in that team fight. The triple kill at the end to cap it all off. He became a split-pushing monster.
You know, right before it ended, I was going to ask you, and not even to the fact that they were playing well. It was going to be a serious question of, is that Ardent Sensor the right buy? But it didn't matter. The game was over. They could have had anything in their inventories at that point. What a crazy kind of clip to that game coming from Golden Guardians, a team we usually saw get that early lead, have somewhat of a lead, and you'd be like, this is the time. And then mid-game would falter. But they seem to control it all the way through now.
Yeah, I want to really talk about that bottom lane because Matt was destroying it. He was pushing up on that Braum, and every time he landed a Q, you have Ole and Doublelift backing up. One of the things that you have to worry about when you're playing those mages in the bot lane is those first 3 levels, because you don't spell sling. You auto attack for less damage than the marksman, and then your spells are typically a higher cooldown. And even Vladimir's E, it costs HP. He was trying to shove the wave, wasn't able to shove it fast enough level 1, got it denied from him, and then they were just bullied over and over again in the bot side.
You talk about him, you said about the Shen earlier in Champion Select. He plays like this on the Braum. We remember his time when he used to do this on the Bard. Matt seems to be back for Golden Guardians. To hear more about that win, let's send it back over to Avali and Golden Guardians support.
Not quite support, top laner, but Lorlo, congratulations on that victory. Now, last split, it took Golden Guardians 4 weeks to find their first win. So how important is it to you guys to pick up the win on week 1?
Yeah, so practice this split has been going way better for us. I think we have just a better approach to everything, and we're taking things just on a higher level. And yeah, just practice has been going well, and it just feels super good, honestly. Especially just beating TL again feels really good, just especially for me, and I think Matt as well. So this is a really, really feel-good win.
And you guys brought Mickey on for this split, but with that, you lost your veteran shot caller, High. How have you guys been adjusting to the changes, and who's calling the shots now?
I think it's become more collective. I think I've taken a role and stepped up a lot in terms of communication, but I don't think it's solely on me. I don't want to just say I'm the lead shot caller or whatever, but I think everyone has a voice and everyone states their opinion really well, and we kind of just go off that, and then we make a decision as a whole.
Well, here's hoping this is the first of many wins for the Guardians. Congratulations again on your win, and for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. Our defending champions get destroyed by the Golden Guardians. You thought game one was
Who
fast.
else was the favorites, Mark?
Game two.
Sorry. I know you're right. I know you're right.
I feel
but
like
I just gotta...
the Golden Guardians might be the favorite now with the fastest game time so far this summer split, just over 21 minutes. I mean, a crushing victory here over Team Liquid. And when we take a look at the compositions, again, Double has been very vocal about the bot lane meta at times and kind of even at times flip-flopping on how he feels about it. Yesterday, winning on a traditional marksman. Today, playing a non-traditional bot lane carry spells disaster for the team.
Yeah, and I don't know if we're ready, but I'll go right into this.
Get over there, Mark.
We got to
Dive
take a
in.
look at the strategy that went into this level 1. And so if we can pull up the replay about what they were trying to do, it was actually not the worst idea. So if we go ahead and roll it, the enemy team went for an invade down the bot side there, and so they're going to be looking to try and shove the wave, but there's not enough presence and push power with just a Vladimir E. If Oli was there the entire time and queued the wave with him and was getting execute stacks off, it would have been fine. Doesn't happen. Wave stalls out right there. Ezreal Braum is nasty level 1, so they get frozen on, and then they get the big wave pushed and dove by the Graves. They're both level 1. Oli missed a lot of experience from the wave during this time too, so he goes for a flash pulve. And right here, he has a decision to make. If you look at the XP, Vladimir is basically 1 melee creep away from leveling up. He has stacks on from his Targons right now, so if he autos this creep, it'll execute it, give a heal to Double Lift, as well as level him up. He instead is going to use it on the Braum. And so, if we play this out, he is going to actually kill the Braum and take it down to the turret, but he might have been able to save Double Lift as well. If he's able to level up, he gets the heal from the Relic Shield, can take the pool, and maybe they're able to turn that one around a little bit better. As a result, they both die, double kill happens, and the Graves starts snowballing out of control, and they get shut down very hard this game.
All right, so essentially some misexecution from the Team Liquid bot lane on this non-traditional duo. Again, maybe not understanding if the push was their idea, how to actually make that push happen for level 2, and then in the dive itself, maybe some room to have played it a bit better. Communication would have had to have been on point there in order to get that off and get the level 2 for Double Lift.
Yeah, and I do find it funny how Double Lift got a level 1 kill on Cody Sun's Vladimir because of like a silly laning mistake. And then here, there was more that went into this one with support bot lane carry synergy, but still bad level 1 Vladimir play leads to dead Vladimir. 2 times we've seen.
All right, so we'll keep tracking all those win rates, of course, for the non-traditional and traditional bot laners. But as you mentioned, the double kill goes over to Graves, and I think this is a huge point. You give Contracts an inch, he'll take a mile. He's always been a somewhat aggressive jungler. Remember his Kha'Zix. Remember these types of champions that can put out a lot of damage and a lot of pressure. Well, Graves, with 2 early kills, just means he can run rampant in the opposing jungle.
I mean, even looking at Worlds, he was playing things like Ezreal and Graves in the jungle non-stop and was a huge component for C9 getting out of group stage back then. Now, here on Golden Guardians, with those 2 early kills, like you said, Graves can become a bully, and Zen is only going to be ahead of that matchup really early on, and those 2 kills completely take it out of his hands.
Not to forget Lorlo's Aatrox there, as you see, topping the damage charts by a mile. Great to see him on a carry champion that he feels comfortable piloting. Again, this is a guy, when he joined the LCS, you heard all the talks of his Aurelia, his kind of bruiser carry top laners. This might be a perfect meta for him to start shining.
Yep, and it's got to feel really good as well. It's not too long ago we saw Lorlo, even Mickey, Matt on the Team Liquid organization when Team Liquid like superpowers up and then they win in 22 minutes. Part of that was the snowball effect. Contracts played it pretty well, and I think Team Liquid down the stretch played some of those team fights really poorly. It was only 3 or 4K gold at 18 or 19 minutes, and then they just kind of all face planted into the rest of the Golden Guardians team.
There you go. Two games in, both incredibly quick. The first one, 25 minutes. The second one, 22 minutes. So we're definitely ramping up here on day 2, where day 1 felt a little tentative and slow as teams weren't willing to take that risk. Now we're starting to see some of those snowball mechanics you talked about, Mark, really come to fruition.
Especially if you look at Team Liquid's team comp, like how do you play from behind here? Not much wave clear. They have engaged to pick fight, so maybe you can find people out of position, but if the enemy team is not giving you that opportunity, you don't have a way to stall the game out.
And with this, with the Golden Guardians victory, the dad's competition in the prediction game is really heating up. In fact, Avali's mom reached out ahead of that game to Avali herself, Dad said he needs an upset to set him apart from the other fathers. If you could poison Double Lift's lunch, it would be great. That's dark.
I mean, it's criminal.
And it also might have happened because Double Lift did not have a good game.
But Hey, the win
Yeah.
came through for Golden Guardians, and that's going to put Ovly's father out to an early lead against the rest of us who were all picking
On
the
trial.
favorites.
Like, what?
and maybe.
You know,
Oh
luckily
my
there's a burden
God.
of proof. There's a burden, and that's not enough. That's circumstantial at best, all right?
All right, but if we look ahead to the third game of the day, CLG versus 100 Thieves, Isaac's dad explains his pick with, okay, clever little guys versus a phalanx of thieves. Bullshit baffles brains, so I have to go with 100 Thieves. How do you guys feel about that logic?
I'm more impressed with the alliteration.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good, right?
He's a poet, man.
I didn't know he was a
Looks like
poet.
He's
Some of
very
these-
outdoorsy,
Some
man.
of these dads did go really
He's
hard
a
on
shirtless
the-
poet.
He's a shirtless poet.
We're
back there,
learning
like,
so
of
much
course.
about
Logic,
the
of course.
fathers, and now so much of every one of these guys is starting to make sense to me.
I don't know about all of them.
So hold on, who picked Golden?
You don't think Azale Wax is
Ovly's dad
poetic
actually
option?
picked Golden Guardian.
He really did.
Yeah.
He really did.
Is he winning?
He is. I mean, I haven't received word that any other father predicted Golden Guardians. I know Riv's dad picked FlyQuest in game one. Yeah, just received confirmation. So,
Okay.
so Ovly's father out to a lead at 2-0. Most of the dads sitting at 1-1. I believe Riv's dad's sitting at 0-2. So a rough start. Still 3 games to go. Anything can happen, as we've seen in many, many previous weeks. We're going to step away when we return. CLG and 100 Thieves look to finish the weekend with a win. We'll see who comes out on top after the break.
Cobelter's on his way.
Level 1 kills coming up. There's one. Serve him up. 2. Oh. Put himself in range. Over the wall. Throws down the W. Defies it, but still goes down.
This is a good fight. Really? Hey, Matt, I'm going with you. I can go still.
Maybe no flash. I think no flash. I can slow too. Wait.
Nice. Just go mid tower. Go mid tower.
Contracts to the backside, looking at Smithy. Eyes to the bot now for Ole. Forge God back through and blocked as they're able to drop Cobelter. TL backing off of the fight here is, Lorlo to the front line. Lorlo! He says we're letting it rip, boys! Golden Guardian goes in and he just absolutely deletes Team Liquid. They are just being absorbed up and gone, evaporated from the map.
The sub above difference is legendary. With Jersey Mike's, throwing an unforgettable party is easy. Now this is a party. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above.